The new generation depends on our actions, and we must deliver them effectively and as one. We are the turn of this century. We are the voice for change. We are the pieces to fix what America is falling short on.
People in America need to actually accept that there is still racism in this country and need to do something about it.
This is normal. Normal to the point that I've learned to duck from bullets before I learned how to read.
No fear! Immigrants are welcome here!
Spread the word! Have you heard? All across the nation! We are going to be a great generation!
Hi everyone, my name is Monika Sabri, and I am one of 11 million undocumented Americans who live in the shadows. Today, when I leave this auditorium, I could be stopped, detained, imprisoned, deported. I and 11 million people live with this fear every day. I am a dreamer, a proud New Yorker, the first one in my family with a college education. An organizer fighting for the opportunity to live with dignity and respect. But in today's America, in the eyes of our government, despite all my parents and I have done to contribute to this country, I am considered a burden, a criminal, a problem. I stand here today to tell you that our lives can no longer be used as bargaining chips. And if one of our stories touches your heart, I beg you, join us, become a dream voter. Call on our government to pass a DREAM Act. A solution? Thank you. To find a solution to all of the million undocumented Americans in the country, but most importantly, to give us an America where you and I can live with dignity and respect.
My name is Jamie Tyberg, and I grew up in Korea until I was 9 years old. And I stand before you today on behalf of Mother Earth. Because what I didn't know then, but know now, is that the same forces pillaging my home country are the same powers telling me that I deserve less because I'm an immigrant, that my body can be exploited like nature because I am a woman. But you can no longer see the skyline in Seoul. And sometime in my lifetime, New York City could be underwater. What is on the horizon for a planet when hurricanes that are only supposed to come every 3 centuries hit 3 times just in 2017? When will we realize that winning slowly is just another way of losing? It's time for real change and real action, one that starts here locally with you and moves up federally and globally so that 7 generations after me and you can see the light of day.
Muslim, Palestinian, American. Hi, my name is Heba Jamal, and I will no longer choose between my hyphenated identity. In this country, I am only reduced to one or the other. As a youth activist, my goal is to live in a world where my faith is no longer just a label for your diversity quotas, where my faith is something that is no longer victimized. The reality we have to come to terms with is that Islamophobia is present in all aspects of society. whether it's in our foreign policy or the denigration of our faith from the mouths of policymakers. We must ask ourselves whether our politics are truly pro-justice or are they just solely anti-Trump? My call to action is for every person in this room, Muslim or otherwise, to not just vote for the lesser of two evils, but to take power into your own hands, whether it's running for office, organizing your communities, or simply educating yourselves on the realities Muslims have to face here and abroad in the name of freedom.
Hi, I'm Monta Schaefer. I'm a 19-year-old transgender artist and model. I stand before you to honor the lives of Krista Lee Steele-Nutzlin, Vicky Gutierrez, Zacharia Fry, Celine Walker, Tanya Harvey, Felicia Mitchell-Berryman, Amia Tyre, and Sasha Wall, the documented names of trans people who were murdered this year alone. These are names belonging to the long list of lives stolen because they could not satisfy our society's tiny idea of what a woman is. I grew up in North Carolina where lawmakers declared that people like me do not have the right to choose what bathroom I can use, that it is easier to alienate and erase us than it is to include us, easier to create more victims like the ones I just listed than it is to protect them. This is the reality for trans people. Yet the reality for all people is that none of us consented to being assigned genders. I stand here on behalf of my generation to say that we need to abolish the colonial construct that only men and women exist. I ask you to please hear the pain of and to listen to the trans and gender nonconforming people, giving priority to those of color, and to make room for us in a society founded on boxes that none of us fit into.
All power to the people. My name is Nupol Kiazolu. I stand here to honor the life of my little sister, Miracle Kiazolu, who was murdered weeks before her birth due to domestic violence. I stand here as a survivor of sexual and domestic violence. I stand here to honor the lives of Black women that are killed due to domestic and sexual violence and never get the attention they deserve, that are never plastered over magazines, that are never seen on the news, on CNN, MSNBC, Fox. I stand here to bring attention to the countless number of Black women murdered each year. And as a Black woman, I cannot leave this stage without saying the name of a Black woman that was just murdered, brutally beaten, and dismembered here in New York City. Her name was Brandy Odom. Brandy Odom. Say her name. Brandy Odom. Say her name. Brandy Odom. White women, you need to show up for Black women and women of color. Just like we show up for you. This word, intersectionality, pops up so many times. But what does that look like after today? After we leave this auditorium? Are you going to show up for Black women and women of color after this? Are you going to uplift and elevate our voices? You have to. That is what intersectionality is. Working together, coming together as a collective. The people united will never be divided. So we have to come together and show up for Black lives and Black women's lives because we do matter. Thank you.